Hello everybody, Spaceboy99 here, back with another banger of a video. So I wanted to show you this video. Let's just get started, and we'll talk about it. Donald Trump has said a lot of gross things, a lot of gross and creepy things about women, some of them about his daughters, Ivanka and Tiffany.
It would be really disappointing. Not really. It would depend on what was inside the magazine. I don't think Ivanka would do that inside the magazine, although she does have a very nice figure.
So he's talking about his daughter posing in a skin magazine, and then he says she does have a very nice figure, and you can see Ivanka's face here. It's like, oh, there you go again. But you can tell maybe she doesn't really mind it that much, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But here he said
that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her, and then nervous laughter from her. But the sad thing is, that being her dad, I don't know that she's ever learned how to be appropriately awkward about the whole thing. And then somebody says gross, but then I'll tell you what it is, though. It's not really gross. I mean, on the surface it's gross, but there's something behind it. I'll tell you in a minute. He doubled down on that sentiment last year. Yes, she's really something, and what a beauty, that one. If I weren't happily married and, her father. First, I want to unpack this. This really gets me every time people say happily married with regards to whether they're willing to explore something outside their marriage. It's like, I remember back in that movie, A League of Their Own, the baseball movie with the women. There was a scene there where there was a lady named Betty Spaghetti, and then they said, sorry guys, she's married. And that's all they had to say. They didn't say she's happily married. I mean, that's just an aside. I mean, when you're married, you're married. If you're unhappily married, still, don't do anything unless you get that taken care of appropriately. Okay, but this is sick. He says, if I weren't happily married and, her father, ... Okay, here we have an ellipsis. This next comedian makes a joke.
I have never been so grateful for an ellipsis in my life.
I have never been so grateful for ellipses in my life because I don't know what he's going to say next. Is it, I would date her? Whatever it is, it's going to be gross and totally inappropriate.
I have never been so grateful for an ellipsis in my life.
Whoever's one of the great beauties of the world, according to everybody, and I helped to create her?
Who?
Ivanka. My daughter, Ivanka.
Yeah.
She's 6 feet tall. She's got the best body. She's hot.
And so he's talking with Howard Stern about how hot his daughter is.
She's got marvelous legs. You don't know what she's got this part yet, but time will tell. Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't.
Oh, this is sick. This is really sick. Well, I was going to say sex. Can you imagine? I should edit that out. It won't matter. But can you imagine that a normal person? But I'll tell you what it is. It's not.
Be incredible for women in this country.
It's not that he is crossing boundaries and not knowing how to respect his daughter. I'll tell you what it is. It's because he's not appropriately close to his daughter. So the repulsion reflex has never kicked in. Donald, you were supposed to protect your daughter from being sexualized inappropriately by everybody to the point where you don't even think of it yourself. you're the reason she's not being inappropriately sexualized when you're present. Or even if people know you're in her life, that's your job. You're the one doing, Donald, what you're supposed to be protecting your daughter from whenever anybody else would do it, or to stop anybody from doing it in the first place. It's because he's not close enough. It's not because he's gross. Actually, I think that would be the expected behavior when a dad is awkward and not appropriately bonded with his daughter, and he's a warm-blooded heterosexual male. That's not too unexpected. If you're gonna say gross, I mean, if you're Donald Trump, if you're a crude person, it doesn't surprise me that you would say that. But because you're her father and you have not been appropriately bonded with her, and you're crude, so you're gonna make sexual remarks about your daughter. Well, I have some feelings about being called daddy. And, well, see, you've got to admit, okay, girls do that, and they tease sometimes men by calling them daddy. So, I mean, it is kind of understandable that if you're crude and you're Donald Trump, you know, it's like he's not appropriately bonded, so he doesn't know where to. It would seem like he doesn't know where to draw the boundaries, but it's because he's not close enough. He's not expressing the proper profundity of the relationship with his daughter. So I've come to the point recently where I realize that if a girl calls me daddy, and she's not my daughter, and I'm not really her daddy, it's like, I get it, you know, I see the appeal and everything, yeah, but I'm not your daddy, and I have a real daughter, so this is gross, you know, I don't like this. You know, I can see the appeal. I understand everything about it, but sometimes that ship has sailed. Okay, my daughter's not a baby anymore. She's growing up quickly. Not puberty, but it's if you're close enough with your daughter, as you should be, repulsive mechanisms will start to kick in. Might start to come in the form as, you know, I realize I wouldn't quite like to be called daddy by a girl. Because I'm not her daddy. I'm the daddy of one girl. And I'm close enough with her as her dad. Okay? I'm close enough with her as her dad that there are enough repulsive forces to make it just family. That's it. I mean, yeah. People, I know whenever I say anything, people have a tendency to just take it all the wrong way whenever a man says anything. But yeah, I hug my daughter a lot. That's good. And that means that's appropriate. I do the appropriate amount that girls need. And it's family. And it keeps everything family when you're close enough. What I think happened with Trump here, I'm not dogging on Trump politically. Sorry if you think so. I'm apolitical. I stay out of it. I don't care. But this man is obviously not close enough. He's not bonded enough with his daughter to get the ick. Like, he hasn't experienced the profundity of the father-daughter relationship enough to just not go there and be like, she's my daughter. Ick. No comment. I don't do that. I don't talk about that kind of thing about her because she's my daughter. But if you're not bonded enough with your daughter, that doesn't kick in. If you haven't, who knows? Maybe you didn't even hug her enough, because it's familiarity that makes family repulsive. To be honest with you, it's if you hug your daughter appropriately, it's gonna help repulsive protective mechanisms kick in. I mean, I'm not being gross here. That's biology. That is what it's not coming from me. I read that. That is what happens, and I'm experiencing that myself. I think it's perfectly natural and a beautiful thing. I want to show you this other thing here too. We've got this. I'll talk about this too. If you remember this lady, okay, Belle Delphine says, "Daddy, Zaddy." She's got "Come here, Zaddy" on her shirt. I'll play a little bit of this if it doesn't screw up the copyright. Come here, Daddy. I mean, I get it, I get it, lady, So it says, "Come here, Daddy," and she's like, she was a total OnlyFans model, and just a total tease, and so she's out there with her shirt that says, "Come here, Daddy," and I get it, but if you have the appropriate social relationships in your life, like especially, I'm not, maybe it's completely different if you don't have a daughter. Can't speak for anybody who doesn't have a daughter, but if you really do have a daughter, at some point, things like that might seem a little more, like, gross. Like, it's like, I know it's a tease, and I totally appreciate it, but it's not working on me anymore because, well, it became really gross once so, high school girls around here, I mean, it's not wrong, right? It's not the wrong tease. It's not like, hey, I want you to, do something else. It's right. That's probably about the right way to tease a man like me, if you want to tease him. But the thing is, do you want to be teased? And I think it goes right along with also recognizing that you don't want to go there about your own daughter because you're profoundly close enough with her. Okay, so... And what semen retention does is that it strengthens the frontal lobes of your brain enough, but we don't have to physiologize this. It frees your energy, your mental energy enough so that the most complex and profound things we have are strengthened, such as family relationships, the bond between a father and a daughter. Now, if you're a wanker and you like tease and you're always spraying out seed and wasting your energy, you still probably could be of course, if you're otherwise just a decent guy, then you're going to be an adequate dad. But what I'm saying is that the semen retention will help your relationships go into profundity so that tease will disgust you. You don't just lead a double life where you put up with tease and then you go to being a dad and back and forth. You just appreciate the profundity of the relationships that you really can have enough, because you have enough mental power to appreciate the depth, that you really find the daddy tink kink tease to be just kind of repulsive. You get it, you still get it, but it's like, well, I don't need this. Like the girls around here, I hate to say it, don't take this the wrong way, but high school girls, I mean, that's what they are. They do that to me because they know I have a daughter. They'll just say, Daddy, and then, that thing they do. And look, I'm just saying what they do. I'm not saying, I'm saying, yeah, that's the right tease, and that's natural. And, it's them testing boundaries, it's practice maybe. I don't know, but I'm sure it's natural and in a way healthy for them, and then it's also healthy for me to see that they're not wrong. I've never responded to that, even when I wasn't on semen retention. It's like, yeah, it's like I get it, but they're high school girls or whatever. No, not going there. This has to be. I'm not saying anything wrong, am I? Why does it feel so dangerous? I think it's because men have been demonized so much to have as having such shallow relationships and being such horn dogs. Now, granted, sometimes it really is innocuous. I hate to be a killjoy and, just because I have arrived at some spiritual or moral point. I'm not saying that I've arrived at some moral point where I decline the daddy tease. It's more like it's personal. There's another YouTuber who talks about semen retention. He actually said, long before me. So he said, she might have a nickname for you. She might call you daddy. Doesn't have anything to do with her daddy. He went on like that. And in that case, I think he knows what he's doing. I think he's just having his fun. He enjoys what he enjoys, and that's completely innocuous. Have at it. Go ahead. She can call you daddy. If you don't find it gross, more power to you. It makes me wonder a little bit, is it because fatherhood has been so diminished, or maybe if he's not a dad, especially if he doesn't have a daughter, maybe it's filling something. I don't know. I could go on and psychoanalyze. Not going to. If that's his bag, tease whatever floats your boat. It's fine. It's good. It's certainly not saying it's the wrong tease. It's just a matter of, do you need the tease, and would it interfere with the very real relationships that the tease evolved or derived from? And in my case, it might very well. So I have every right to not be into it. I'm married anyway, but you know what I mean. So it's not wrong. It might be just filling a need in men today, with fatherhood being diminished. I was gonna say something, I can't remember now, but yeah, it's not gonna hurt. I'm not gonna psychoanalyze. Whatever floats your boat. It's not wrong. Now, what was I gonna say? Well, just wrapping it up here. See, YouTube doesn't. That's what I love about YouTube. This doesn't matter. I'm just practicing. Who cares? They just don't watch anyway, right, guys? All right. Cheers.